one of the main questions you get whenever a good player's out is how are you going to make up for it? And there's never any real answer. The bottom line is no one is ever really going to come in and just move in and get the points, get the rebounds for that player. It's got to come from a lot of different areas. But that was proven differently tonight because, as I said after the game, with Jawan losing OG in this game, Jawan rebounded for 2 tonight. I mean, that was one of the most. That was a tremendous hustle performance because everybody left it all out there on Wednesday night, and he was as spent as any of them, and was banged up. We've got numerous guys that are banged up after a game like that, and but he came out and brought it. And I was worried about our start. One way or the other could have gone. It could have gone either way. We did something yesterday that I've never done in 18 years as a coach. I've never had some sort of live the day before a game. Certainly when it's a back-to-back, it's different. But when you play a game, have a day off, game the next day, really the majority of the team didn't do anything live. They did more walkthrough type of things. We watched a lot of film. Some guys that we wanted to get shots up and movement for and things of that nature. But the bulk of the main guys playing didn't do anything, and we didn't do very much in our walkthrough today because I was certainly concerned about our energy. But we had a slow start with our movement. We were getting good shots other than maybe one, and then we picked it up. And then that energy and that second win came because this is it's a long week. But I mean, they want to play basketball the rest of their lives. This is a week that you got to kind of get used to. So with a Sunday, with a Wednesday, especially with the emotion of that, to turn around and play with the level of effort, the level of grit and edge that they played with tonight was fantastic. They knew my respect level for this team. They don't know John Harris like I know him, but I think they understood that I have a lot of respect. I have a love for him, just like I have for them, because he was on my first 3 teams at Marquette. And he was on a staff of mine that went to the Final Four and been involved in his coaching life ever since. And I'm just proud of him. I mean, completely proud of what he's doing with that team. And we had a lot of respect for them. And the one that some of you will remember is I likened that team to an Eastern Washington from a couple years ago, where they came in here and they executed and they played with great edge and they made shots and they played fast, and we didn't handle it. And we ended up losing that game. And we didn't want anything like that to happen. And our guys really responded today, and a lot of good basketball in a lot of ways, and especially when some of your better shooters aren't having great shooting nights. But we played a very good hustle game. We made 20 free throws in a row, I believe, JD, right?
19.
19 in a row, something like that, which was very good for us. We had guard rebounds. We didn't have any turnover points that we gave up in the first half. I mean, so there were some really good things. And we'll spend a little bit of time on this and turn around and get ready to play Sunday.
Terry?
You talked earlier about Duran's conditioning. Mm-hmm. Is he getting closer?
Well, I think you're seeing it. Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, it's getting better. But I mean, we've had him on a hockey shift schedule, and it got a little longer tonight, and it just worked out that way. And we got to keep pushing it. I mean, again, there's a guy that was we weren't sure he was going to play today, based on the other night. So OG's was the most obvious, but there were a lot of guys. I mean, I've coached a lot of games as an assistant and as a head coach, and I've not been a part of many that had that level of intensity, effort, energy, toughness, and talent, all at the same time. And that's with the respect for Carolina too, because they were playing the same way. That's why it was such an incredible game. But Duran did a good job of, especially after not doing anything yesterday except walking through, and very little today, but he did an excellent job of understanding what the game was giving him. We wanted to make a couple of adjustments for him to make it a little more conducive to where his skill level is right now, especially on the offensive side. And but he played well, and I think it'll continue to grow as he gets healthy and as he gets even in better shape, and he understands how hard he has to play for how long. And that's a big thing right now for a young guy, but especially for a young guy that wasn't here all summer and is coming off the injuries.
Juwan talked about he was thinking too much with his shot in some prior games. Was this more indicative of what you're seeing in practice from him?
Yeah, I think he was. I think when he's on the attack, with the ball, And I think some of the thinking, it shows up in his footwork. At times when he's been called for the travels, when he hops. Because that's not how he practices, that's not what we do, and it's not how he plays. But I think sometimes that happens. But you go through shifts in that where guys are really becoming complete players. Remember now, he's played point guard for us different times, even as a starter. So we're throwing a lot at him, but he's capable of it. But he is, his level of hustle and effort to rebound the ball, to do things defensively. And when you take OG out of the lineup, you take so much athleticism, versatility, you take the shooting, you take the rebounding, you take that defense out, right? So, that's hard. And I thought our guys tried to do a really good job of making up for that. And Jawan did even more there, right? But the rebounding and that level of hustle really showed up. And when you're focused on all the things that don't involve shooting, it's usually pretty indicative that you're going to shoot the ball well. And it's just amazing how that works. But that's a lot older than any of us, that adage, and it's true. When you focus on the things that you can control, and the ball's moving, and there's an old saying that the ball finds energy. And it's a good saying, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think he was a part of that tonight, and he was rewarded for it, for all that hustle.
So.
You've been saying a few times earlier in the season that you guys got to improve at feeding the post. Was there any kind of added emphasis on that tonight? Because it seemed like there were a lot of posts.
Well, there's a lot of emphasis on that. It's just different. It depends on how the post is being played. And tonight it was being played more straight behind. So it's even more indicative that we want to get it in. And we probably made it a little harder than it had to be early in the first half because it was open on the single side more. And what we've tried to do and what we tried to have a carryover from the other night was get it back when the ball's been reversed. So like in a situation where you're in a screen and roll, get it reversed, get it back, now get the guy sealed. That's what we tried to do the other night. We probably did too much of that, where we could have just thrown it in right off the single side, the shake, thrown it in and right from there and played, and we started to make that adjustment more, and that helped. But we want to feed the post. We've got tremendous numbers when we go through the paint, and they're great numbers, right? So we want to make sure that it's that ball as much as possible is touching the paint. One reason that I wasn't that concerned about our slow start was the ball was going through the paint at the beginning of the game. And as long as that's happening, things are good.
Tom, the fact you said basically you just went through walkthroughs yesterday, is that something you think you would continue to do in the busy part of the season? Is that like a one-time thing, or could you?
Oh, we've done that. I've held guys out, at different times. But this is just a different scenario, right? They spent so much Wednesday night, and it was just a matter of making sure that we were really fresh, and we weren't that fresh. All right? It's hard to be that fresh turning around after that game, but we tried to do the best that we could. And I give Lionel, Mario, Tim Garl, Dr. Rink, Dr. Allfield, Dr. Hetty a ton of credit for them. They're in here as much as any of the players. We've got some players in there a long time, right? You get a guy, we had guys back in here rehabbing at 9 o'clock Thursday morning, right? That didn't leave till sometime after midnight because of all the stuff that they were doing in there. And it's hard, that's a taxing thing. But so we just want to keep it managed the best that we can, because it's all about having that energy right in. But they have to have a certain amount of, they got to get that out of their system a little bit, and then we've got to run. And we didn't yesterday, so I knew that it was gonna affect us one way or the other. So that's a long answer to I don't know, right? I don't know. So it's all spur of the moment.
Terry?
Do you have any kind of a feel if OG is a long-term thing or short?
I don't think it's long-term, but it's hard to tell. He's gonna get sick of being in that chair. We don't do any boot shooting, at least not officially, any boot shooting, because it's just there's no carryover to that. So we started right away yesterday with him in the chair, working on his arc, working on his dribbling, and he's doing all the rehab and the stretching and all the stuff that he's got to do, and it's just got to heal. So we'll get a little more of an indication tomorrow, but we're certainly not banking on him. I wouldn't rule him out like officially. I can't do that, on Sunday. That wouldn't be made till tomorrow or Sunday, but I'm not banking on it. I'd say that in here, but we'll see. It's every ankle responds differently. But Tim does a great job, and the players do a great job. The ones that do a really great job of making sure that they're not only doing what they got to do in here, but they're not getting carried away outside of here. You know, that they're following the procedures, the icing and the foot up, and whatever he gives them. Those are the guys that usually come back a little quicker.
Alex?
I think James had 9 rebounds the other night, 6 again tonight. What makes him so strong as a rebounder, as a guard?
That's a good point. He's strong. I think when he's aware of it, and there's been some nights that he hasn't, and when he's aware of it, he was a good rebounder last year. He was really rebounding the ball well when he got hurt. He's quick. He's got a good vertical. He's got the strong legs, and he understands that is an absolute emphasis. We got better because of playing Carolina, right? So not only do you win the game, not only do you learn things, but we got better. We got better inside of those practices because, okay, here's these emphases that we have to have. With the weak side blackouts have to be better. The guard rebounding has to be better. We've got to be inside, where it has the BIG, we got to be inside of that. We don't want to be just free throw lining in. We want to be under that, in our defensive rebounding. And so it just becomes more, you get more and more aware, and the carryover is good, and they know it's working, and we're subbing if you're not. So it's, at times, but it's a big emphasis for us. He understands it, and he's doing a great job of it.
Terry?
I'm guessing we're not going to talk to you tomorrow. Can you tell us anything about Southeast Missouri State?
Well, I think they're well coached by Rick Ray. We haven't even talked about tomorrow, but I think they're well coached. I know they gave Illinois a tremendous battle the other night. We were in there late for a lot of reasons, but in there really, really late watching film of Edwardsville. I'm sure there'll be some of that tonight, and we'll have a better view moving forward in them. But I think I know they went into Illinois. I've seen some of that. I know they went into Illinois and got after them. So we won't take them lightly. We'll get it all figured out the best we can. What we're not doing, even with Carolina, is we're not spending so much time on all the different things that we get away from what the base is. And I think we're trying to do a good job on personnel. We're trying to do a good job on what their actions, what they really want, what they want to get from them, and really trying to understand what their strengths are. The next big thing for our defense is going to be to understand who we're closing out to. We're not an overhelp team, but we're going to keep seeing people that are going to penetrate and create some help, so we've got to do a good job of making sure that we know who we're rotating out to, what those strengths are. And in a short work week like this, or a short game planning situation like this, that's harder to get to. Hopefully we can get better at that as we get a little more time in between games.
Okay, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.